Good morning, everyone. Today I'll start the new chapter of Python Pandas. And in the earlier videos, I have told you about the Python Pandas 1, and afterwards, I have given the assignments. Hope you have written the assignments. I'll start the second chapter. Under this chapter, we will see basically three topics, which is iteration in data frame, binary operations, and aggregate functions. And in today's video, we will see all these three, how it will be done practically as well as the theoretically. So first of all, I will start with the topic, which is iteration in data frame. You have already heard about the iteration in standard 11th, where we had used the for loop or while loop for iterating the items in an array, or for iterating the item simple value we have iterated. Iteration means the repetition of the value, the repetition of the statements again and again. So here also, in iteration in data frame, if we want to access the record or data from a data frame row wise or column wise. Till now we had seen how to access the column, how to access the rows. But if I want to access the data frame one by one, means one record at a time, then we want to see the second record and then the third record and so on. Okay, then how it will be done row wise as well as column wise, we will see here. So Pandas has two methods or functions to perform the iteration. The first one is iter rows and the second one is iter items. So the two method is very important: iter rows, iter items. If there may be the confusion that if iter rows is there, then it must be the iter columns. No, in place of iter columns, it will be iter items. Okay, so for rows it is iter rows, and for accessing the column it is iter columns. Sorry, iter items. For accessing the rows, iter rows. For accessing the column, it is iter items. So one by one we will see iter rows. It is used to access the data row wise. Each row or horizontal subset is displayed in the form of row index, column, comma, row value. Means when you will want to iterate it, first of all you will write the row index in the with the help of for loop, and after the comma you will write the row value, where row value contains all the column values for that row index, because we want to access one complete row. So one complete row will have the column values, first column values, then second column values, then third column values. In that way we will be accessing one complete record. One complete record will have the several column values. Clear? So here it is, where row value contains all the column values for that row index. Okay, if the row index is 0, then all the column values of that particular row index will be accessed. That means the one horizontal subset or one complete record will be accessed. So we will see practically how it will be done. So let us go to our program where we have written about the iter rows, how it will be done practically. So this is the iter row function of the data frame, where we have created one data frame with the help of the sequence like name Sachin, surname Bhardwaj, name Piyush, surname Verma, name Arjun, surname Tyagi. Means how many records? You will be getting the 3 records over here. The same data frame can be created as I have written in the comment line: name Sachin Piyush, surname Bhardwaj Piyush, and so on, if more records or more columns you want to create. Okay, so this is also one of the way: name, first row data, then second row data, then third row data, and so on. So after displaying the data frame, the main iter row methods or functions will start here. How to access one row at a time from the data frame. For loop I have used, And in the slide I have told you the row index first of all you will write, then the comma, and then the row value. So this is the name of the variable row index comma row value, and from where this will be accessed using the in operator you have used, and then which data frame name is df. So we have written here df dot iter rows. Iter rows is the name of the function of the data frame, so we have written here dot operator, and then the colon as you have used earlier using the for loop. So this you need to by heart it how it will be written. You have to memorize this, like for row index comma row value in df dot iter rows, this line. Okay, and what you need to print, because this afterwards the body starts, so you will be writing after the colon, automatically the cursor will move a little bit right away. Print /n row index is row index, means in the output you will see first of all the row index, and the first row index, which will be the 0 by default, will display here, and then after the next print row value is, and then all the row values will get displayed by this print. Okay, so when we will execute this one, you will see the output, and the output you need to understand how it has accessed. So the data frame which I have created was name, surname. The first record Sachin, second record Piyush Verma, and third record means the data frame which I have created is with the help of the name, the first name, and the surname. So this is actually the original data frame, and the row index is 0. This row index has come because of the statement written here, row index, and then the row value is, and then after what the first record row value. So first row value is what? Here you can see Sachin, and then surname is Bhardwaj. And for every record you will see name 0. 0 means the row index, and d type is equal to object. String values data type will be object, so it is showing here. Second row index is 1. Row value Piyush Verma. You can see the second is Piyush Verma. And the same way name 1, which is a row index, as well as the third one, which is the row index 2, Arjun Tyagi, you are able to see here. Name 2 data type object. So here you can see the first record is displayed one time, then in that very statement for loop you have used, so the second row accessed, and afterward the third row. So as many rows you will be having in your data frame, that very rows will get displayed with the help of iter rows. This is very important for the examination point of view. So you need to understand the thing about the iter rows. And the second one is iter columns. So this iter columns, what is iter columns? So let us move to the iter column, iter items. Iter columns is not at all any function. The name of the function is iter items to access the columns of the data frame. So here it is used to access the data column wise. It views a data frame in the form of vertical subsets which display the data as call index. Call index is also known as call name. So in place of call index, if you will write call name, then also it will be correct, comma call value. In the case of iter rows, it will be row index, call, comma row value. In the case of iter items, to access the column, it will be call index, comma call value. In place of call index, you can write call name too with the help of for loop. So practically we will go to see the iter items to access the column. So here it is, iter items, the same data frame I have created here. So if I will make this comment 1 and another one I'll take, then also the same data frame will be created. The two way, any of the ways you can take it. Okay, so name Sachin, surname Bhardwaj, more records can be added over here. Just an example, I have created 2 rows, and then after here it is for call index, comma call value, that is the column index and the column value, and in operator df dot iter items, very simple, the row as well as for the column, only the needs which has to be changed is the name of the method, and here call index comma call value will be written. Column name is call index, column values are and the call value. Okay, execute this one. So first column is what? Name. Second column is surname. So this is the original data frame. Call name is name. Column values are Sachin and Piyush. Name D type object. Name means what? In the case of iter rows, the name was given as 0, but in that was the row index, and in the case of iter items, the name is specified as name, the name of the column. This is the name of the column, or you can say the call index. The another call index is surname, or the another column name is surname. So next column is surname. So here the column values are Bhardwaj, Piyush. So first column accessed Sachin, Piyush. This is the output. The second column accessed Bhardwaj, Piyush. This is the output. Name, surname, D type object, the same way. So iter rows, iter items. Iter rows to access the rows of the data frame. Iter items to access the columns of the data frame. Okay. Next is the binary operations of the data frame. Binary operations you have already heard, you have already done. Binary means two, means which requires two operands for its execution. Okay, the first operand and then the second operand, and you have used the first binary operations in arithmetic operators in standard 11 when we were working on the arithmetic operator like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, floor division, exponentiation. Then the relational operators were there, then the and or not logical operators were there. That were the binary operations. So here also in data frame we will work on the binary operations. To directly we will use it programmatically, how it will be done. Because it requires two operands, so we have to create two data frame for that. One data frame is df1 and another data frame is df2, and both df1 and df2 I have created with the help of dictionaries. Okay, the first column d1 I have created with A147, second column will be B, third column will be C, and respectively the values will be there, no problem at all. The second data frame I have created it with the help of A, B and C, the same column name and the same number of rows, same number of columns, same number of rows. In fact, the columns are also same. So 10, 20, 30 in the second data frame will have this many rows, 3 rows, 10, 20, 30 in the first row, 20, 50, 60, 13, 12, 16. So when you will take the output for this, you will be getting the data frame df1 will have this values and df2 with these values. Because it is the binary operation we have to perform, means addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. So that is why we need two data frame at least. Okay, so data frame df, there are many ways in to perform the binary operations. We have the operators, we have the functions. So both the way we will be getting the same result. If we want to apply the operator over here to add the two data frame, that can also be done. If you want to use the function, that can also be done. Function name is add, to add the two data frame, or radd to add the reverse data frame, means first of all df2 data and then the df1 data you want to add, that can also be done. Let's see how it will be done. So first of all you have taken the output for df1 and df2, then we have directly used df1 plus df2 using the operator. Then we have used df1 dot add df2. This is the syntax that you need to understand. df1, the first data frame, will be added with the function dot add, and under the bracket of add parameter you will write the df2, that means the second data frame. So the output for these three in addition will be same, because if we will write radd means the reverse addition, which means df2 plus df1. The comment line at the same time you need to see the df1 dot add df2, which means df1 plus df2. And when you will apply radd function, then radd, here you are not supposed to change anything, it will be remain df1 dot add df2. Okay, then here, which it means that first of all df2 value will be added with df1 because it is the addition, so the result would be same for all these three. Getting my point? The result will be same for all these three. So let us first see, after executing it, the output for the addition as well as the plus operator. So you can see here the two data frame ABC 1 2 3 4 5 2 7 6 6. The second data frame 2013 2050 and so on. And A, B, C 11 22 16. Here the output, these three, this is the first one df1 plus df2, this is the using the add, and this is the using the r add. So you can see the addition will be performed by the row index and the column index. The respective row index and the column index of the first data frame will be added with the respective row index as well as the column index. So here 1 plus 10 which is 11, 2 plus 22, 20 it is 22. So you can see 1 plus 10 is 11, 20 plus 2 is 22, 13 plus 3 is 16, 7, 4 plus 20 is 24, 5 plus 50 is 55, 2 plus 12 is 14, and the last row now 7 plus the last row of the second data frame 30 is 37. Then the second columns last row, second column, second data frame last row 60 plus 6 is equal to 66, and 6 plus 16 is 22. So this is the output. If you want to modify the output, if you are not getting it properly, you can use the print statement there. You can format your print statement, print function. So the first one is the df1 plus df2. The second output is using the add, that also the same 11 24 37, no changes in the output. And in the last output is we have done it using the radd function, that df1 dot radd df2, that is also the same output. So we can say that using the operator as well as using the function, we can add the two data frame. So the thing that you need to take care of is that the name of the function, which is add plus radd. Radd is nothing but it is the reverse addition. Reverse addition means first of all the second argument and then the second parameter, second operand, and then the first operand will be adding together. Okay, first operand in add function will be the df1 and the second operand will be df2 in add, but in radd the first argument will be the second data frame and the second argument will be the first data frame because of the radd. So this we have completed the add, and now we will see the rest of the data frame. So let it make it as a comment one, the previous one, so that you will not get confused with the output, what output is coming. One by one we will see. First of all we will see the subtraction one. So I need to make this till here as a comment one. Okay, so now we will see the difference from df1 minus means next binary operation subtraction. So subtraction is here, df1 dot sub df2 r sub. Let us see. Difference means the first data frame value will be subtracted with the second data frame's respective values using the sub and using the r sub. Here you will get the two different output. The first two will remain same, this output will remain same, but the third output will be the different one. If you want to write anything as subtracting data frame, subtracting two data frame. Okay, so what I have told, df1 minus df2 is same as df1 dot sub is the name of the function for subtracting. Okay, and r sub means reverse. So first of all, df2 value will be subtracted with df1. So let us start with that subtraction of the two data. Invalid syntax. Why it is showing invalid syntax? Tell me. Because I have not provided here the argument for the print, which is the comma one. Yes, first data frame 1 2 3, first row, then second data frame, first row 10 20 13. So this two row 1 minus 10 will be minus 9, 2 minus 20 minus 18, 3 minus 3 13 is minus 10. So this is the way to subtract. Subtracting two data frame ABC is come over here. If I will make 1 slash n over here, if I want to do it here like one new line, if you will add, then you will get the clear output. Okay. First data frame, subtracting the two data frame. So this is the using the df1 minus df2, and this is with the help of function sub. Both these output is same because df1 value is smaller than df2 value. That is why the result is coming in negative. And when we have done using the r sub, that is the reverse sub, it means that df2 minus df1. So 10 minus 1 is 9, 20 minus 2 is 18, 13 minus 3 is 10. So in that way you have got the result. So this is the subtracting two data frame. Now we will see the multiplication. The same way you will do. This is what I wanted to show you practically so that you don't get any confusion in between how it will be done. This is very simple. Multiplication and division we will see all together, as well as the float division. So let me remove this comment one. So now you need to concentrate the data frames as well as the multiplication, division and float division. So let me explain this one. df1 into df2 and df1 dot mul, mul is the name of the function for multiplication of the data frame, and r mul is the reverse one. So here it is also the same one. These three result, the output for these three are same, because multiplication with first or second argument, or second argument with first operand with second argument, and second argument with first argument would be same. No changes at all in the output, but for the division it will be changed. So let us see first of all the multiplication. So that you don't have any problem. The output is for which one, and here also I am adding the division one. The first argument division will return the quotient. Okay, and that quotient will be in the form of what? The float value. Float value will return in that, and in float division the float value after the decimal, whichever value will be there, that will be cut tail. So let us see the again invalid syntax. Here you need to specify the comma, here also you need to specify the comma. Control S F5, because three output were there, so it has scrolled from the screen. So first data frame is the same spelling of multiplication, you just need to ignore it. Yeah, 10 into 1 10, 20 into 2 40, 3 into 13 is 39. In that way the multiplication you have got, that is df1 into df2. The next one is using the mul function, the same output 10 40 39 80 and all the values are same, and then using the Armal function, that is the reverse multiplication, that also all these three are the result for the multiplication and no changes, because for from of the addition and for this multiplication, if you will change the operand, then also the same output you will be getting. You need to pay focus for the division one. First data frame, let me this should be the comment one, because you will face problem to understand the output. Multiplication we have completed. Now the division one. Okay, division, df1 divided by df2, using the div function as well as using the rdiv function. Div function, simple division, df1 by df2, and rdiv means here it should be df2 divided by df1, reverse division. Okay, so let us see the output. The first data frame, then the second data frame. 1 by 10 is 0.1, 2 by 20 is 0.1, 3 by 13 is 0.23, 4 by 20, 5 by 50, 2 by 12 is this result, and 7 by 30, 6 by 60, and 6 by 16 is this one. For this and the div, df1 dot div, inside the bracket df2 will get the same result, no changes at all, but our division will have the different result. So 10.00. Why the output is coming in point? Because this is the simple division. The quotient is there. When you will divide 1 by 10, then you will get the result as 10.0. Why point is coming? Because floor division will return the quotient in the float data type. Okay, so 2 by 20 is 10, but the output is coming 10.0 because it is a simple division. Okay, so this is that need to be taken care of. 3 by 13 is 4.33 and so on. And this is the output. The last two is the output for the floor division. Here you are not getting any output in the decimal format. Why? Because floor division returns the integer value when the arguments are float, and it will return the decimal output, or you can say the float output, when the operands are in the decimal float value. Okay, so here when you will divide 1 by 10, sorry, 10 by 1 or 1 by 10, you will get the output 1 by 10 as 0, and same means here 0.1 is coming, so only the integer value has taken over here. Okay, so here also the second one is 0.2, so 0 is coming, 0.1, 0, 0.1, 0. This is the floor division. Okay, this output is for the floor division. You can write it over here. Floor division. In the floor division, what will happen? Only the output, the quotient will be coming in the integer format. This you have done already in standard 11, the difference between the floor division and the simple division. Okay, this one is the floor division, and this particular, the next one is the floor division of, I have just changed the operand df2 divided by df1. Okay, so let us see only the division one. Again I am forgetting to place the comma, so the output error is coming. Yes, first data frame, second data frame, floor division 1 by 10, 2 by 20, 3 by 13. In the earlier cases, it was coming as decimal one. This one, all the results are coming in the integer form, that integer one. The decimal value is discarded over here. Okay? Next one is df2 divided by df1. So df2 is what? 10. 10 by 1 is 10. 20 by 2 is 10. 13 by 3 is 4 point something. So it is coming only as 4 because floor division discarded the fractional part. Okay. 20 by 4, 5, and so on. You will be getting the result. Wherever there will be the fractional value, that will be discarded in the floor division. Okay. So this way you will done the binary operations. Okay. Next we will see the aggregate functions. So what aggregate function is? You have already done the aggregate function. Aggregate means the max, min, sum, count, mean, mode, median. These functions will be applied on the data frames. So the following table lists down the important aggregate functions, and this table I have written as the name of the function and then the description. So what for this max will be used? As the name suggests, max to find out the maximum value, min to find the minimum value from the set of the values, sum will count the total number of values, count will count the number of non-null value. If there is any NaN value, that will not be counted with the help of count function. Mean will find out the average values of the data set. Mode will be most repeated value in a data set, and median is the middle value of the data frame. This three are the statistical function that you have done already in statics, or if you have not done, it is very simple. Mean means to find out the average value. Mode means the most repeated value in the set of values. So in a particular column, if some value is repeating, then which value is repeating, that will return by the mode function. And in any of the specific column, you want to find out the column should be the numeric. Okay, for mean, mode and median, the column should be the numeric columns, means it will not apply for the name or the surname or the string value. It will apply only for the numeric set of values. So mean, average, mode the most frequent repeated value, and median is what? The middle value. Middle value, how it you will be there? First of all, you need to arrange the values in ascending order, means from lowest to highest, and then the middle value you will be selecting for finding out the median. So these functions will be used on the data frame to find out the respective value. So let us see how it will be done practically. This is the very simple. This one is also very simple. So aggregate function, here it is the value. I have added some the previous data frame, I have added some value. Here it is name Sachin, Piyush, Mayank, Suraj, surname Bhardwaj, Rai, Poddar, Verma, means how many rows? In the earlier cases it was only 2 rows, but here it is 4 rows. Age, and afterwards the score. So these two column, age and score, I have taken as numeric so that we can perform the mode, mean and median. Okay, so one by one we will see the maximum, minimum and so on, rest of the functions. So first of all we will see the max, min and sum. So the data frame, after displaying the data frame, the highest value of each column of the data frame, if you will simply apply df.max, max to find out the maximum value, then what will happen? All the columns maximum value will return. Okay, all the columns maximum value, means in that very data frame there are the column name. So under this name, which one is maximum? Sachin, Piyush, Mayank, Suraj. How you will find out the maximum value? Maximum value with the help of the letters which has started. For example, Sachin S, Piyush P, Mayank M and Suraj S. So the highest ASCII value for this is over here is of which one? This S. But here S has two names, Suraj as well as Sachin. So which one will return? After S you need to see the second character of the name, that is A and U. So U is the highest ASCII code. So this, in this case, for the name it will return Suraj. For the surname it will return Verma, and for the age it will return the maximum value as 19, and for the score it will return the maximum value as, when you will see the output, before taking the output, I am telling you the result. And here under this score we have 89 is the highest value. So let us see first the maximum value of the data frame. So first of all, the data frame is name, surname, age, score. As I have told, Sachin, Piyush, Mayank, Bhardwaj, Rai, Poddar, Varma. This is the 4 rows of the surname. Age 17, 19, 18, 16, 87, 77, 77, 89. These are the values for the score. And the highest value of each data frame, name, I have told you. Under this 4 names, Suraj is the highest ASCII value or the maximum ASCII value. So Suraj is coming. Surname Varma, because B, then P, then R, then afterward at last V is coming. So Varma is the highest one. Age over here is 19 and score is 89. So through the max function we have seen the highest value of the data frame. Okay, so but at the same time, if you want to find out the maximum value for any specific column, here I have not used any specific column. Directly I have given the command as df.max. But here I want to see the name column maximum value, then you can also do. But the format for writing is df, then under the square bracket you will apply the name of the column under the quotes. Okay, this will return the maximum of name. So again it will return which one? Suraj. So let us see. Second output you need to see is maximum value for the column name is Suraj. Okay, so this is the first output that I had discussed. This is the second one. And now the third, which I have used here as minimum, df dot surname. Df surname min return the minimum value, and which minimum value will return? The name of the column is surname. So surname minimum value is which one? The Bhardwaj. So Bhardwaj will return in that case. Okay, and df age sum. Here I have used the sum function to find the total. And if you will write the df in place of age, if you will write a name or surname, the string value, what will return? It is not going to return any value for this. So you need to take the columns, which is the numerical value. So age is having the numbers, numerical value. So 17, 19, 18, 16 all will be added here. Okay, so let us see the output. First of all, the surname minimum value of column name. This is the surname, means minimum value for the surname is Bhardwaj. As you can see, the lowest ASCII value under this name will be the Bhardwaj one. And the sum of the column age, means all sum function we have used for the column age. So all the ages 17, 19, 18, 16 is added together, and it has returned the result as 70. Okay, so in the same way, count we will use, how the count will be there, and then after we will use the rest of the function as it is specified in the program. So first of all, we will see the count function, df.count, and here I have specified x is equal to 1. So it will count the total number of records in a data frame. I have not specified any specific column. So whenever you are direct accessing the count function or any of the function, it will apply it for whole data frame. But if any specific column you will provide it over here, then it will return that very column's number of records. So here I have not specified any specific column, so it will return the total number of records. How you will recognize that it is a total number of records? Because x is specified as 1 over here. So if you will specify x equal to 0 as I have specified here, then it will return the total number of records for each column. Okay, and here it is a total number of records in a data frame when you have specified x is equal to 1. So till now we want to see only these 3 output. So let me do this rest of the command, rest of this statement as the comment one. Now only I have executable these two statement, the total number of record df dot count and the total number of records x is equal to 0. So these two things you need to take care of that. First of all, the data frame, then total number of records in a data frame. In this very data frame, what are the total number of records? 0 will have 4 records, means this the first rows is calculating over here. Then the first row index 1 will also have the 4 records. Second row index, that is the third row, will also have the fourth record, and the last row, which is the third row index, will also have the 4 number of records. So total number of records in a data frame when you have applied the x is equal to 1. Okay, a d type int 64 because this value is integer sort of. The total number of records in each column of the data frame, when you will write df dot count x is equal to 0, then for each row, I mean each column will have that many record that will return by the output. Name will have how many rows? 1 2 3 4. So 4 is coming. Surname will also have this one. Age. So this is the thing that you need to take care. When x is equal to 1, then what is the format for the output, and when x is equal to 0, then what will be the format for the output. Clear? Now I will make it all the above one as the comment one and the rest as the executable one. So here I have to remove this. In that way you can also do the same thing. Otherwise what you need to do, you have to write one function in one program. That will be difficult to maintain. So here in the same program I have used all the function. So till now we have discussed here. Then here it is df surname count. Here I have used the specific column surname. So surname, whichever number of records are there, that will be count. And then after the mode, mean, median. Before seeing the output, let us first explain this one. I have already explained what mode function will do. So df is score. Score column will have whichever the repeated value that will display. For example, score will have this 4 value, and under this 4 value 77 is repeating. So in this case df score mode will return the 77 as an output, as I have written the comment one to calculate the most occurrence value. And before the output will be coming, I have written the statement the most repeated value of the column score. Okay. Next is the mean or average value of column age. Age average value, how you will be calculated? You will add all the values and then you will divide it by 4. Then you will be getting the average of age. And median is what? Score. You want to see the median of the score column. So score column again will have this many values. So first the value will be arranged like 77, then second will be 77, then 87 and then 89, and afterwards you will find the median value for that. Okay. So because this is the even numbers of values like 87, 77, 77, 81, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the middle of the values, the two middle value will be joined to, will be sum up and divided it by 2 to calculate the median. Okay. So let us see the output first. The data frame is the original one. Total number of entries in the surname is 4. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4. The most repeated value of the column score is 077. 077 means score will have 87, 77, 77 and 89. This is the value for the score, and 77 is the most occurrence value. And here the mean value of column age is 17.5. When you will add 17, 19, 18, 16 and divided it by 4, then you will be getting the average value or the mean value as 17.5. This is only for the specific column age because I have written the age only for the to find out the mean. So it is not, mean median mode is not only for any specific column, but it can be applied for the rows also, but the rows should be of numeric sort of, and for the whole data frame, as well as for the whole series, as well as for any specific column. Okay, so these three function is not only for a specific column, but it can be for the whole data frame, the whole rows as well. And here the median value of the column score is 82.0. So you can have one question as 87, 77, 77, 89 is the value for the median, for the score. But how 82 is coming? 82 is not at all here. So I have told already that median, the simple median will be calculated if there are even numbers of values like 1, 2, 3, 4. Then the median will be calculated by first of all arranging the value in a lowest to highest, means first of all 77, then 77, then 87 and 89, and in the middle one 77, 77, these two value will be added together because it is the even value. Okay, even number of elements are there, 1 2 3 4, 4 is the even value. So 77 plus 77 and divided by 2, you will be getting 82.0. So this is the way to find out the median value. In the question, you will not have to write the function how you will find out the median value. Maybe it will be coming, but it is very simple. But maximum time the questions may come what will be the median value for the column score. So if you are not knowing how to find out the median, it is very difficult to answer it. Okay, so the median, mean and mode, the mathematical function that you should know how to calculate it. Okay, so this is what I wanted to tell you in today's class. The next class we will see the rest of the topic of the pandas 2, and we will meet you in the next class. Till then, whatever I have given you, whatever I have showed you, you please do right and do it in a practical way. Till then, goodbye.